have on the back. Cause you're right about.
What's going on, beautiful people? I am the Grandmaster, and I also go by D-Ray, bringing you guys the next episode of the Grandmaster's Table, and I am joined today by my beautiful wife, Summer. Going to say hi?
Hi.
And today, guys, we have, he's just going to say a simple Matt, but today we have the legendary, really good draft league content creator, MattOshea. Going to say, my man.
What's up, everyone? It's Matt. How are you guys doing?
Everybody's great, man. We're great. Everything's great. It's an interesting time, but we'll get to that. Guys, do me a favor. If you guys are excited for this day, do me a massive favor. Like I said, wow. I don't know why Matt's making me nervous, but here we go. Hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, hit the bell button so you get notified every single time we post a new video. And if you're excited for the episode, make sure you smash that like button as well. Now that the nerves are out of the way, for whatever reason, you got me nervous, bro.
That effect.
I looked up to Matt actually for quite some time. I've never told you that, but I've watched your content for quite some time. Being in, I think the farthest draft league that I've seen with you in the past. I actually watched you. I don't know if it was the UBL or if it was a different league, but I remember watching you a lot. And your content is awesome in regards to being informative in your draft league content. So kudos to you, man. Glad that you're still out here doing it. So how you doing, bro? Everything going okay with these times that we're in?
Yeah, no, getting through. Everyone's in a really shitty position right now, but we're just surviving, trying to get to the next step, next day, and then hopefully all this can wear down before too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Same.
So how's your day-to-day living being affected? So you're saying you're still working?
Yeah, still working. So I got my 9 to 5, quote unquote. Now it's like 9 to 3, but it changes because of everything. Banks close and change hours and whatnot.
Do you find that you're getting a little bit busier than you were before, or was it a little bit slower?
I mean, people are changing, doing different things. Like they're starting to do their online banking more, which is nice because it means they're not coming to the branch. Less likely people are gonna get sick,
Yeah,
but it also makes
true.
it so there's a lot less for us to do. So I've been doing a lot of studying.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Passing the time in a different way.
Yeah.
I like
Exactly.
that. And Canada, huh? You're the one of the few of us that are in most draft leagues that are not in North America. So how's it like living over there? Or we'll say the United States. I know it's still North America, but the United States. There we go. Good catch, Summer.
No, I mean, we had a blizzard on Saturday,
Nice.
so that's always
That's nice.
early May.
Oh, yeah, that's terrible. We had like a really hot sunny day here. Like really hot. We were sweating in the swimming pool.
That's
I
9
mean,
days.
that's what you get for San Diego.
Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
I noticed you emphasize in May. Is that normal? Is that typical year to year when you find a random blizzard in May?
Probably not.
I mean, the middle of April we'll get something.
Yeah.
For what it was, that Saturday was just kind of weird. It's still cold usually up until around mid-May, but then once you hit middle of June, you're getting to your like 26, 27 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but
No idea either. So much.
it's hot. It's hot.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it random weather spikes? Like one day you'll have it super hot and then one day it's just randomly cold? Or is it all bunched together with both?
It's kind of bunched together, but honestly, it more so depends on where you are. Like we're right by a river, so you get this random cold spike just throughout the day, but it's mostly because of the wind and then bring it up to the rest of the
That's crazy. I couldn't even imagine. I know that because, like you said, we live here in San Diego, so our sun is just here,
Consistent.
not necessarily year round, but it's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
So not having the sun out is crazy.
Or not
crazy.
just not the sun, but just it being super freezing cold one day and then
hot another.
another. Yeah, I know.
We're blessed over
We're
here. But
definitely
we do still want to
blessed.
visit one day. Canada is an awesome place.
It's beautiful, and whatever pictures and videos
From
I've
photos.
seen, it's beautiful.
Oh, definitely is. No, like when you think about it, Canada's like we're not that much different from the States. We're just a little more, well, I say quiet, but that depends.
Yeah, it really depends on where you're at. So now, shifting gears over to your career on YouTube, how long have you been on the platform?
So I've been uploading since early 2017, so just over 3 years. But I wouldn't really consider myself like that I really started and jumped into it until maybe the end of 2017. That's when I started doing my first like lists and not just uploading straight up battles, and that kind of changed a lot for me.
So the content shift. What kind of lists are we talking?
Anything. Like I went from doing a top in the game, I went to doing the top like 10 megas, ranking certain things, ranking priority moves, talking about how to speed creep things, just basically any aspect of Draft League. That's what my goal was to do, find that little niche and really work my ass off to perfect that niche.
And it shows off in your play. For those who don't know, MattOshea is his team. He is the coach of the Montreal Milotic, and you'll see him in a lot of really big draft leagues. And he's pretty up there in regards to making the playoffs consistently. Would you say that you doing content like that, of that variety, being able to teach people about the draft league format, has been able to help you with your own success?
I mean, it's success. The big thing though is that I was able to meet a lot of new people who were able to introduce themselves to me, and we were able to just start talking. They would help me with builds, I'd help them with builds, and eventually you kind of have that mentality where you just get better and learn from others. And whenever you can get a different perspective on anything, not just in Pokemon, it's going to really impact your thought process and improve your your way of seeing things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it really does. The feedback
not just
you get
in
from
Pokemon,
others.
but like in life in general, you know.
So you've been in content creation for 3 years now. At this point, what is it that you find yourself more of a priority for your channel to make? Is it to continue to perform well in your draft leagues, or are you looking to move more towards the other side of content creation, where you do those how-tos, those lists? What's on your top priority list that fans can expect to see whenever they come to your channel?
So the big thing is just like finding a good balance. I feel like having one without the other is a recipe for failure in a way, because especially for my recipe, if I can't back it up, what I'm saying and feel like, hey, this mon is much better than you think it is, and here's why, and then I go out and I stuck with it and it doesn't work out well, then I'm not really showing that I know what I'm talking about. So what I think is most important though is just enjoying it. Like as long as I'm enjoying doing this, then like I'm going to continue investing my time, my effort into it. So that's the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
And
That's
you'll see that
why.
in the content.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You have to enjoy it, or else it just turns into like a job
that you don't look forward to.
Yeah, you don't look forward to. You have to have fun with it.
So, that being said, did this start as a hobby, or did you come into this thinking that you wanted it to be like boom, 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 this is what I want to do for content creation, or is it something that you did on the side that blossomed into something more?
Everyone thinks it's gonna or hopes that it blows up and becomes something big.
Yeah.
But rarely is it gonna be that. You have to just go in thinking like, I'm gonna do this because I want to. Like I had friends who said, you know what, you should just start doing it. And I mostly started because of them, but also I have a bad issue with my speech. It sounds like I slur my words a lot, and doing this really helped me gain confidence just speaking out in front of people and doing public speaking in general, and improving my, articulation. So because I don't really want to put it down, because I know in my future I'm going to have to talk to people and do that stand-up practice, how rough it's helpful.
That's awesome. That's interesting. Like
I would have never gotten that from you.
Most people like just started because hobby, but you're using it to also help improve yourself in another aspect in your life, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, you kind of apply a sense of personal development, which is great. I like that. That's different. I would have never guessed that from you. I know we met not too long ago, but I would have never guessed. That's cool.
Yeah.
I was really, really bad at that. Like I would have our high school had speech classes just as something because they thought this is something that everyone needs to learn how to do.
Yeah.
And I was always mortified. Whenever I got up on that in front of the class, it was awful. It was terrible. I was sweating, slurring words, stuttering, everything, and this has really changed it for me.
Yeah, Daniel is good with, he likes the center.
Eyes on me, baby.
Yeah, he loves that, but I am in that boat where I had to take speech, and I would start shaking. Like you could literally see my hands shaking and my voice gets all shaky. I am not a fan of
It's a skill. It really, really is.
Is.
And I say that, I think that's cool that you're getting to this point, is that for me, I've never really got that sense from you that you had that fear, and the fact that you're doing this with such ease and such grace, that's a testament to you, man. That's awesome from how far you've come.
Appreciate it, but being up there, having that shake, it takes a lot of work, and I'm happy with the progress I've been able to make.
Awesome.
Yeah, 100%. That's great, dude. So with content overall. All of us, you, me, I say you, all of us, but you and I, we do this with Pokemon, right? How long have you been a fan of the franchise? When did you first come in with your first set of interests?
So, my cousin, who is 28 now, 28, 29, I got his hand-me-down Game Boy Color and his hand-me-down copy of Pokemon Red. Like, honestly. I remember the first Charmander, I'm like, this is the coolest looking thing, and enjoying the game, loving it, and then I lost the Game Boy early, like maybe 2 weeks later. And it killed me, but eventually, things happen, like parents blessed me with like a Christmas gift, and I got that Game Boy Advance with Crystal, played that game to death, and then I took a huge break, like a massive break. Like I played Gen 3 and Gen 4, but then I went all of high school without playing at all. So it was a big change, but coming back to it was just the right decision because this is a game I grew up with. It's a game that kind of raised me in a way, and I'm always going to remember that.
So, with that being said, Mr. Cantonian, if you were to be given one Pokemon out of the entire franchise, now that I know that you started from the very beginning, there's a massive list for you to choose from. If you're going to be given one Pokemon to be your absolute favorite, it doesn't have to be your favorite to use in Draft League. It doesn't necessarily have to be your most favorite aesthetically, but if you're going to be given one Pokemon out of the entire shebang, which one would you pick?
100% it's Milotic. Like 100%. Do I use it in Draft League? No, I'm terrible with it in Draft League. Like, it doesn't work. It's an amazing mon. It's just like something about it. It really signifies the importance of like my growth from 2017 until today, and having that there just really changed a lot. So why would I not go with that?
100%. It's a beautiful Pokemon too. Really, really
For
nice.
sure. Not the most practical to have in like the real world. Like,
Oh yeah. Hey, you do live by a lake, so maybe that could be something practical for you. That's awesome.
You're right.
That's cool. So, would you say it's more for your personal growth reasons, or is it an aesthetics thing? What fully draws you to the mon?
I mean, this kind of just it works, but this is not the reason why. But I mean, Feebas, you go from like the ugly duckling kind of thing until this beautiful thing, and you go from my struggles and the way I felt kind of almost embarrassed that I played this game before I started uploading to now I'm like, cool with it, it's whatever. Like, this is who I am now. And that change that Milotic goes through when it evolves from Feebas to Milotic, just it matches up pretty well.
It's very symbolic. That's awesome. I like that symbolism. That's a cool symbolism.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Oh my
Basically. That's so cool. So, having the Game Boy from when you were young, you said that you took a pause when you were in high school. When was it from high school to when you started your content? Is when you decided to, when your friends, your peers decided to tell you, hey, you should do this for content. When was the flip from when you were a fan to now doing this as a hobby slash second, not necessarily income, but as a hobby? When did you make that flip?
So I watched like the Draft League stuff on everyone's channels when all this was going on, and I just wanted to get into a league so badly because I had no friends that played, and like I just said, you know what, I want to do this. Eventually I just hop on Reddit one day and I see a guy, he's saying, hey, we're going to recreate this league using the exact same teams. Join the league, take over a team, and I kicked ass with it. And then I said, you know what, I want to keep doing this. I had my first draft, and that was like around the middle of 2016, and then by the beginning of 2017 they said, hey, start this, you'd be good at it, go for it. And I did.
Nice.
And then it's been history ever since.
Basically, it's just the love of Draft League, just that competitive nature. The wanting to actually like win and come up with something unique and fun is what started it all.
So that was the beginning of the channel. The next question is kind of segueing into when you exactly started with Draft League. When did you fully become competitive to where you got your full-on start that now you're doing Draft League content? How long has that been?
So the entire time, my entire history of my channel has just been Draft League. Like, I've always felt this is the right way to play the game. I'm not a fan of VGC. I'm not a fan of laddering. I feel like counter teaming is so useful because if you think about it, there's all these different Pokemon in the world. Not everyone's going to have just the same 6. They're going to have a team in their like PC box or whatever. You might as well prepare for what they have available. So that's why I think like it was just the right step for me to do and say Draft League was the choice I want to go with. And I started with it and I haven't regretted it at all.
Nice. That's good. Is it a connection from sports? Are you competitive in that sense? So I hear the competitive because your voice changes when you talk about draft league, and I like that about you. You get into the zone. And is that an aspect of you in other parts of your life? Do you do any sports? Anything that gets you more competitive outside of Pokemon?
Yeah, so I'm very I try to be very athletic, especially when I was younger. I basically played a sport every single season, like a different one for school.
Jeez,
I played college basketball, and it was nuts. I was amazing. I loved it, and eventually I hurt myself, and it basically just got taken away from me, which is it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened this summer.
That's what happened to me.
Right?
Not with basketball, with soccer.
With soccer.
Yeah, I played soccer for 13 years, and
Wow.
yeah, my knees just got really messed up, and I just couldn't play in college at all because I was just, by the time I was 18, my knees were horrible from playing since I was like 6 years old. So I feel that in my soul.
What took you to start? There's something specific that got you that you couldn't play anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I grew 6 inches in the summer.
Oh, jeez, gosh, that sounds
Yeah, so
painful.
when I was 15 to 17, I got that growth spurts, and it kind of changed everything. Where I became a lot more talented as well. Like that, it really made it better for me. But 3 years later, no. Like I have trouble moving. So I don't play anymore, but I coach. So that's how I get my career fix.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
what sport do you coach right now at this time?
Basketball.
I coach basketball. At this point, I don't coach anymore. I had to move away from the city, but I coached basketball for 3 years, and proud to say we got 2 championships out of it. So
Nice. What age do you coach?
I coach. It's grade 8 and 9 girls. So they're
that's
really
awesome.
and like the girls are amazing. I would never coach boys. They're just too arrogant.
Yeah.
So
That is for sure.
That's true. Girls are more willing to learn and listen.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it. Like the fact that you have someone there who wants to learn, someone who wants to get better, who's ready to hear the knowledge.
Yeah.
I wish I was like that when I was younger, and these girls were able to take that, run with it, and have really gone the better of it.
Success, yeah. That's awesome.
And you moved away from it. Is that because you moved from the city, you said, and then now, so it's just a little bit more of an inconvenience to get to there and work and juggle everything at once?
Yeah, well, I mean, so I moved this was in Montreal, and I moved to Ottawa, which is about 2 hours away.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So, yes, my girlfriend's here for school, and we decided to move in together and take that step. And it also helps because where I'm from is predominantly French, and my French is, it's above average, but not that standard. So I said, you know what, I'll start off my career in an English-speaking province and go from there. But that's why I can't coach anymore, just 2 hours away.
Yeah, that's a long commute.
That is a long commute.
Yeah, very long.
And that's a good segue because I'm looking over on Twitter, guys. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter right now, it's at Grandmaster D-Ray. Whenever we have our new guests on the Grandmaster's table, we like to throw a little tweet out there if you guys have any questions for our special guest. That way you guys can get to know them just a little bit better. If there's anything you've ever wanted to ask them, that's your opportunity to do so. And there's a couple that actually did. So we'll move on over. The first question that we have is from a fellow Canadian of yours, at Platinum Howler. He asked you, what makes you proud to be Canadian?
Honestly, the amount of diversity we have in this country is incredible. It's a huge melting pot of tons of different cultures, races, everything, and it makes me really proud that there's so much inclusivity in this country, especially when you see what's going around in a lot of other places in the world. There's people are divided, so having that mutual respect for one another is definitely up there.
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool.
I agree with that as an outside perspective.
From an outsider looking in.
Yeah, from an outsider looking in.
I really do need to visit Canada one day. I keep thinking, everything that I hear from over there is just all positive.
Yeah.
We'll link up with MattOshea and we'll take the night on, bro.
Let's do it. We'll get up here.
Hey.
Yeah.
The next question that we have here is from at Henry, as he spells it Henry R1115. He asks you, do you speak French?
So
you said that your
kinda
French
just-
isn't that great, but could you
It's
hold the
above
conversation?
Average, right?
Oui, je peux parler en français très bien avec vous.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
He
so
does.
I can speak French.
Cool.
It's just when you experience a very Québécois French, that's when it becomes a bit of a problem.
Oh yeah, we don't know French at all. Like no.
From where you live currently, is it more French than English?
No, so currently it's more English than French. I live in the capital of Canada, so everyone has to speak French because obviously we're considered bilingual as a country.
Yes.
But everyone speaks English. It's very rare where you'll get someone who just speaks French.
That's kind of like here, because we're in Southern California, close to Mexico. There's a lot of people that the number one language is Spanish. Around where we live, around when you get closer, there's National City that's pretty close to the Mexican border, so a lot of people only speak Spanish. It's funny because I don't know if you can relate to this with French, but sometimes you'll go somewhere and there's someone that speaks Spanish, and then they'll look at you. And if you don't understand what they're saying, and they'll say like, how can you not speak Spanish? Or like, why don't you understand me? Even though, you know, we're in the United States. Sometimes people kind of get that confused. Did you ever get it to where someone's like full on French and would get upset with you because you can't hold a full conversation with them?
Yeah, I mean, Quebec is not an English province. It's like the national language, the provincial language of Quebec is French. So everything is done in French. Politics, French. Like, you're supposed to, if you're going up to like a restaurant and let's say, I don't know, let's say you're going to McDonald's, they're not allowed to say hi, how are you? They just have to say bonjour, which is hello in French, and then hi after that. Bonjour, hi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, the laws here are kind of messed up. Like in 95, there was a referendum that happened, and it basically made it so if you have a restaurant or any store, you have to have the French words on your store bigger than the English words.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So,
I did not know that. That's sick.
Yeah, that's sick.
For the
people.
I think it's cool as like a tourist. I think speaking like as a tourist, it's cool to see that like when it's French and then small. That's intense.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never would have guessed that. I knew I knew that there, of course, there's French Canadians, there's people that speak French and everything, but I didn't know it was that prominent, I guess. So it's shock
just that
to
area.
me. In that area. Okay.
Yeah, like that's the only one Quebec is the only province that's French. Every other one except for Nova Scotia, I believe it is. No, it's New Brunswick is English. New Brunswick is considered bilingual.
Oh, okay. So everyone's like looking at Quebec like, what the heck, dude?
Go to New Brunswick. So, and then the next question that we have, the last question we got for you is from @TylerKennedy, and he goes by @TKO152. Shout out to you, my man. He asks you a pretty strong question. I'm sure there's going to be a couple different parts to this. He asks you, have you ever thought about trying to make your YouTube channel a full-time thing? Why or why not?
So first off, TK is amazing. He's one of the like best guys that I have in the community in my server. And he's asked me this question before. I don't think I really gave him an answer because it was before we really knew each other. But if I could make it a full-time thing, I would be interested in it. But it can't replace like an actual career in my eyes, because there's two types of motivation. You have your internal motivation, your external motivation. Internal is something that you get up, you wake up, you want to do every day. External is go to do it because you want to get paid, right?
Exactly.
If I was doing the YouTube, I'd be like, okay, I'm doing this because I can get a lot of ad revenue. I can just work on tons of projects and eventually just grind out content. People will watch and that'll be money. Okay. No, I want to be able to make an impact, make a difference much more than I can. If I feel like if I continue on the path that I'm on, I'll be able to help people like apply for mortgages and to save for their future. I think that's a lot more important to me than creating content long term.
Definitely. That makes sense. This is the kind of person that Matt is, the analytical person that literally just laid out the mental blueprint for you. That was great. I visualized that perfectly. Where is that's kind of a segue that I personally have a question for you, is that where do you think that you want to be in the next 5 years? Given the fact that you're in this current job now and that you're a content creator, what is the ideal situation? Yeah, what are you working towards? What's your ideal situation 5 years from now?
So 5 years from now, ideally, Julie and I are still together, hopefully married at that point, because that'll be over 10 years.
You're like, you dang.
Gotta put a ring on it. That's priority number one. But eventually, I do want to be out of the financial advisor role and move into more of either a management role or go into wealth management. And that's kind of the next step in the career. Like, it's a very this type of job is very linear in a sense. So hopefully I can get to that point. As far as YouTube, maybe I'll still be doing it. Maybe I won't be. It depends on if I still enjoy doing this stuff. But at this point in time, there's no end in sight for me. It's just we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's awesome, man. That's a good answer.
That's the best. I honestly think that's the best way to come into as a content creator, like have the mentality of just like having fun with it and just doing it in that way, because if you're not having fun with it, your content is definitely gonna lack. Even if you're not trying for it, like even if you're really trying for it to be good, it still shows. Your energy, how you speak, everything still shows. So that's awesome.
People can feel whenever you're into it and when you're not.
Yeah.
And as of right now, when your content is phenomenal, and I love your fiery spirit when you play. If you guys haven't had the opportunity to watch one of his Draft League battles, I'll leave a link down in the description below for you guys to check out all the leagues that he is in. This guy is a phenomenal competitor. Like in the beginning when I got all tongue-tied is because I've been a big fan of Matt for quite some time. If you're looking for a channel to come to for the analytical side of Draft League, I like to classify myself as like the fun. Although I still know what I'm doing, I like to have fun and I like to, do dumb stuff and, crack a beer open when the beginning is. I'm not really teaching you very much. Yeah. I know what I'm doing, but I'm not really telling you why. If you're looking for someone that's going to tell you exactly what he's doing and why he's doing it, Matt is a phenomenal person to go to. If you guys haven't checked it out, I highly encourage you guys to do so. The floor is yours, man. Do you have anything coming up pretty soon in the works? The floor is yours to plug in whatever projects you got coming.
I mean, draft leagues aren't stopping. DLCs are coming out soon, so people are going to be getting excited for that. A lot of new leagues coming up. But the big thing is I got a series that's going to be starting hopefully next week, and eventually D-Ray is going to be on it, which is going to be amazing. But I'm not going to release anything else now, but we're going to have lots of guests on it, so it's going to be tons of fun.
Ooh, we love those.
Awesome.
We love those plugs that just give you just a little bit and makes you want to get a little bit more.
Just a little bite.
Just a little bite. We're not gonna give you the whole plate. Just take a little bite. That's awesome. That's phenomenal, 100%. Guys. I'd like to thank Matt so much for joining us here on the Grandmaster's Table. We're gonna cut our conversation just a little bit shorter because it's a little bit late for him and he's got to get to work the next day. He's a very responsible man, so I do appreciate you for giving us this time, my man.
It's my pleasure. Happy to be here.
And guys, like I said before, I can't say this enough. I'll leave a link down in the description below. Please go check out his content. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more of his awesome stuff he's going to be putting out. Like he said, he's got a series coming that you are not going to want to miss. So, Summer, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure. It's
been a good time. All right, guys, with that being said, we're going to get the heck up out of here. Have a great rest of your night. And above all else, be nice. Peace.